exciting. So Dan and I realized that we're probably the last thing standing between you guys and a coconut mojito. So we're going to be incredibly engaging over the next 22 minutes. If we're not, just give us a thumbs down and we'll let you all go. Maybe bring in a cocktail for you. So I'm Robin McCall. I'm with Swarovski North America. Most of you are probably familiar with Swarovski, but in case you're not, we're the leading producer of cut crystal in the world. We offer jewelry, figurines, and home accessories that add sparkle to people's everyday lives.
And I'm Dan Sullivan. I'm the founder of Crowdly.com. We are an advocate marketing platform. What's really different about us is we don't believe in renting out our own large base of opt-in influencers. We connect brands with their own authentic people that really love them. That's central to what we do. And we're excited to have worked with Swarovski on the case study we're about to present. Where do I point this, by the way? I should have figured that out ahead of time.
There you go. Oh, there we go.
There we go. Cool.
Beautiful. So to give you a little bit of background on Swarovski, and it's relevant to let you know where we're talking about with the Swarovski Crystal Society. So, excuse me. So as I mentioned, Swarovski is a company that has provided cut crystal components to a lot of companies for a number of different applications. And back in 1976, the Olympics were in Austria, and to commemorate that, a bunch of Swarovski executives got around a table and grabbed a bunch of chandelier components and actually created a mouse figurine. And this was the first figurine ever created by Swarovski, and it was incredibly popular. It led to a new product line. And in order to harness the passion of the collector who had been collecting now for a while, they created the Swarovski Crystal Society in 1987. So they had this passionate, loyal base of customers that loved crystal figurines and wanted to really collect. So the Swarovski Crystal Society is actually a paid VIP membership. It's been around for over 25 years now, and it's actually grown itself into the world's largest collector society. We have about 200,000 members worldwide, and the US market actually is the highest member base around the globe. And there are a number of different benefits that you receive as a member of the Crystal Society. One of them is the Sparkling Celebration event that we're going to talk about here with our partnership with Crowdly. So it allows our members to get together when we talk about a society and a community and advocacy. It allows them to get together in our boutiques to view the new collection and share their stories, where they got their pieces from, because they come from all over the globe. We have consumer offers in place. We provide treats and games and giveaways, and it's a lot of fun, and it's a nice event for them to come to. So for the past 25 years, we've actually had this incredibly loyal base of customers. Excuse me. So what we really wanted to figure out now was, how do we take this base of customers and start to turn them into our advocates? And how do we get this community to start to work for us? So we've traditionally communicated with this group of people through email, phone, direct mail. So we wanted to figure out how we get them to start to interact with us more digitally.
Yeah, and I think to Robin's point, so when we initially turned Swarovski in the platform, we could really see that core passionate base. I mean, this is the largest collector society in the world. They pay to be in it, and then they gather twice a year in stores. So tremendous potential, but they had been kind of siloed and communicated with on a one-to-one basis. But when we took them into the platform, what Swarovski had built in terms of untapped brand love was obviously there. I mean, when they talk about the Crystal Society, they talk about the moments of their lives, the people they shared it with. It really is a key part of their identity.
So now we've realized, we've sat down with Dan and Crowdly and learned the solution. We realized we really have a huge opportunity here to start working with our member base to actually help build SCS up. It's been very consistent over the past few years, but now we want to help it grow. And so with this solution, we're able to see that we can increase online word of mouth through Crystal Society member advocacy. We're going to be able to convert more offline customers to interact with us digitally. We are be able to drive increased consideration from friends of fans. And this is going to be key for us to grow the community, because now we've got members who are very excited about the product. They're huge fans of Swarovski. They're passionate about it, so they want to take their passion and send that to their friends and their family and loved ones and have them now become SCS members. So this is going to be a great tool for us to use to accomplish that. And then this is also going to be the first time that we've held our event that we were able to drive to an online RSVP page so that we could drive registration for the event and drive sales in a new way that we hadn't before.
So this is a high-level framework of the strategy that we worked with together with Swarovski. The most important thing about a strategy is have one. And it seems common sense, but we've all been in there where somebody wants to jump in and execute without really understanding why or what they're planning on getting out of it. We're going to get into some of these bullets specifically on what Swarovski did and what they were able to accomplish. Some of that's going to be a little specific to Swarovski, but I think there's a lot of key takeaways. In this general framework, the fundamentals are really great best practices for finding an authentic way to tap your advocates, if you have that lucky enough to have a brand that has that asset. The first point here, around segment and analyze, I think is really key, and it is the one that people spend the least amount of time on and are quick to step over. Somebody's got a great creative idea in the meeting, it's like, great, now let's do advocacy and push that out there. Right? So you should spend way more time listening than you do inventing. There are, in Swarovski in particular, but in these great iconic brands, there are people that love you. There are people that are talking about why they love you. In our platform, we brought in hundreds of thousands of people, saw every single thing they've said about Swarovski, and really learned what they were talking about. Rather than saying, how do I effectively get somebody to parrot a message that we came up with in a meeting on Wednesday, look and see, what are they talking about? Why do they care? What are the things that they tell their friends? Why do their friends care? And I think you've got to be, this is a very important step. Do not skip it. And I think you've got to be really honest with yourself. The idea that you had coming into the meeting versus, that against reality, in the face, in the mouth of the people that love you most, you're going to learn, and that's crucial, is to fundamentally start with that before figuring out what you do with it and how you expand on it.
So, as I mentioned, we have a base of customers that, in a lot of cases, have been with us for 25 years. So it's a community that we do want to engage with and interact with and make sure that we are staying top of mind with them. So we do foster the relationship prior to the event. So Sparkling Celebration is scheduled as a one moment in time event, but if you're an SES member, one of your benefits is that you have access to exclusive product. If you're not a member, that you can't buy. And the collection of maybe 3 or 4 figurines, depending on the year, it launches on January 1st, and then it retires on December 31st. So it's exclusive. If you don't get it within the year that it comes out, you don't get it. So we start to tease, actually, the collection coming out in December. It's something that's shrouded in secrecy. We don't tell anybody what the collection is for the next year until January 1st, when it technically launches. We hint to it. You guess it. It's a lot of fun. But January 1st, we officially launch it. And we'll do a Facebook campaign to let everybody know what the new piece is. We'll wrap a contest or sweepstakes in with that to get everybody excited about it. And it goes out to our SES members, and it goes out to our general audience, but it's not something that we can really measure, and it's coming from us. It's not coming from the fans. So we put it out there, but we have a lot of fun with it, and we try to create a little bit of awareness. And then it all culminates with the launch event, which is Sparkling Celebration. So at this point, we've been talking to them for a few weeks, getting them excited, and then the event is where we really can drive home the message and have it convert into people showing up at the event and sales and buying their annual edition piece. And for coordination, we wanted to coordinate our efforts with Crowdly and not just push aside what we had traditionally been doing and abandon it because we had something new. We wanted to take what we had been doing and execute it in parallel to the Crowdly solution. And this was also a really great way, and it was helping us accomplish that mission of driving the online conversion to the RSVP page. The process was easy, it was social, we got a lot of great information, and then in doing all of this, we now then could enable the advocacy. So everything we put into place, we wanted to make sure it had some opportunity for an SES member to now become our advocate and like or share or comment and start getting their friends involved with something that they're truly passionate about. And in doing all of this, it created awareness, not just with our SES members, but it's creating awareness with non-members. And as I mentioned prior, building SES is now key to our success in the future, and this is one way that we're able to accomplish that.
So, while that strategy, so this is that strategy on kind of bringing that advocacy in to an initiative that had a base, that had 25 years, almost 30 years of great history, but taking that loyalty and bringing it into advocacy. And I mentioned segment and analyze. These are going to be, these are pie charts. But what they really look at is that key first step of listening. And I think understanding who those people are, what they talk about, the overlap between different communities. So obviously you can say not just kind of here's our brand content, what do people respond to, what did they say? How did they talk about it? What are the values? What are the triggers? And then what are the different types? So we were able to say, here are your, so Swarovski has their figurine collection and then their jewelry collection. What's the overlap? Who's likely to overlap? What's the difference between somebody that's been a member for 15 years or somebody that just signed up? And then what's really key, and I think this is important, is don't just look at frequency of mention. You know, the fact that somebody says, great, beautiful, penguin emoticon, you know, that's...
Dan, the penguin emoticon is my favorite emoticon.
Nice, great. She mentioned there's hints about the next sparkling figurine.
It's penguin.
Yeah, no, I think there's also, so in that, not just saying what they mention frequently, but what's the impact. You're going to find a lot of people that are really chattery, that are going to mention stuff, that are going to say like, cool. Don't confuse frequency with influence. So what we do is we measure 12 generations deep who talks in a way that their friends can react to. Who drives their friends to comment, their friends to share, those people to share, those people to share. It's very rarely the people with the largest influencer base, the people with the most Twitter followers. It's real people saying things that they really mean to people that they really know. And you cannot fake that and you cannot replicate that. And you can't force them to parrot. So I think do the analysis, understand your different persona types, understand the trends in aggregate, but believe in the people and look at the individual people. And I think there's a great common sense check in there too. A lot of times we ask audiences things that we would not ask people to do. You know, there's this great myth of this other, you know, that, oh, I wouldn't do it, but it's for other people. I think making sure that you're doing things that make sense on a common level, and I think having a clear view of the actual people you meet, their pictures, their stories, what they say about your brand, keep that on the bulletin board, keep that in mind when you plan what you ask them to do.
So, excuse me. We spoke about driving conversion to our RSVP page. So here's actually the RSVP page that we used for our event. So we actually built this ourselves in the Crowdly solution. It was very easy for us to do. It was very turnkey. And then on the flip side, it's really easy for our customers to use. So when they come here, we utilized Facebook Connect, so we didn't have to ask them for a lot of information. They could give us their email address and then tell us what store they were going to. And then that just opened up a whole new world of information for us on the back end, which is great. So we had some good information where we could now reach out to the people who responded and reminded them that the event was happening on the day prior. Don't forget our event is at this time. Come out and have some drinks and some fun. And then we were also able to provide some intelligent information to our boutiques, which we hadn't had the opportunity to do before. We would send a direct mail invitation, and whoever was going to show up was anybody's guess. So with this solution, we could actually reach out to each individual boutique and let them know how many people had responded, and then they could then reach out to those customers and try to do some pre-selling before the event. So that way they would have sales already in the kitty before the event even started.
And this activation page, this event registration, is an example of one of them in the platform and was a component of this launch. Now, what's very different about this than the typical web form is that it is on social. You can point to it from Facebook, from email, from Twitter, from anywhere. It is incredibly deep in functionality, but very simple. It's ridiculously simple, right? Because when you've got an audience that's been traditionally offline, you don't want to create that barrier. So one click, a very comfortable experience with Facebook Connect. What we get and what we got with this was 57% conversion, 3x what you get from a typical web conversion, and with significant deeper functionality that's really important upon not just here's an event registration, but here's the beginning of an investment in your own base of advocates.
And if you were curious, that is our beautiful 2015 annual edition Peacock. So that was the focus of the event in the collection this year.
Nice. So one key thing, however you're doing it, if you're a Crystal Society member, you saw something, you were really excited, you came in, you registered, you've got it now in your calendar, often as brand marketers, there's a, okay, great, thanks, now close the window, right? Now go away. Look in any of your campaigns when you have a really high value action, when you've gotten somebody that really believes in you that's gone and done something like register for an event, look at every single action and see, is that action an opportunity for advocacy? And really layering that in. And that's why it's organic and that's why it's authentic. This isn't tweet 23 times and you get a point that wins a gift card, right? So this is at the end of that registration, we said, great, thank you for registering. with no chance of a prize, with no incentivization. Do you want to tell your friends why? You want to tell them what it means to you, why you registered. And they told amazing stories. And we had 40% of them organically shared that story out to their friends. And because it was with the platform, they're able to tag their friends, put it into their own networks. That gets shared and reshared, not just at word of mouth. All of it contains that link back to drive their registration. So word of mouth is great, but you don't want to disassociate it with an ability to kind of embed that call to action. And that's what really matters. Somebody comments on your brand post, that's great. Only other brand fans see it's not really advocacy, right? It's getting those kitchen table advocates, real people saying things to their friends. So there's the example there where it went through, 40% unincentivized organic share. What's really key too is every one of these activations, it's not just a one-touch deal. You've now built a permanent base of advocates. Through the platform, Swarovski now has a permanent channel to directly notify all, here's 10,000 people, the event's tomorrow, invite a friend, right? So have that channel. These advocates are like an ozone layer around the rest of your environment. They're very important, and I think making sure that you build that core base and however you do it, invest in that asset is very important.
So I know we discussed a little bit earlier that we definitely employed a multi-touch strategy for this event. So, excuse me, we communicated with our existing database traditionally. We still put graphics up in the store. We still reached out to them by phone. We still sent a direct mail invitation. And then we had the email invitation that had the link to the RSVP page. We also did some paid posts, and through the help of Crowdly, with their segmentation analysis, and also helping to create lookalike audiences, we knew that when we were spending the money on the paid posts, that we were actually targeting the right people. And Crowdly utilized with us Crowdly Clinks, which I'm actually going to let Dan explain what clinks are, because he explains it much better than I do.
So briefly, clinks, Crowdly links, tear down the wall between organic and paid, depending on where you are here. Not everybody loves that. I don't want to deal with the advertising folks. But what it does, earned word of mouth is great. What this enables you to do is actually smart code any link that gets shared. So if you've got a Facebook post that goes to YouTube, your fans see it, your customers see it, they love it, they share it, their fans share it, their friends share it. You get 3 million views, and now you go buy ads to strangers. So using clinks, we were able to actually instantly take all those 3 million, and now they're part of your own audience to retarget to. So making sure that as you're exposed to people, it's not just kind of a one and done, somebody saw an ad, somebody saw a story. Did you actually have a persistent way of getting back in front of those people, of taking a more nuanced approach to finding those people that you're cultivating, whether that's that loyal customer that you've already won over, or their friend that exposed them to the brand for the first time.
And actually, through all of this, having that own channel is something we hadn't had access to before. It wasn't something that we were able to do on our own. We always communicated with our customers on a one-to-one basis, but now this affords us the opportunity to talk to them as a group, and also for targeting future communications that we wouldn't have been able to do it intelligently before. It would have just been blanketed communication as we've done in the past.
And the Clinks audience is sort of for paid, but then you also, Swarovski has now built this passionate base of thousands of core advocates that's not paid, that they can directly notify on Facebook, where you get 90% click-through. So for the next month's initiative, important things, a great new video that they really want to get in front of those core people that really care, they've built that asset. And I think however you do it, making sure that you understand who that inner circle is, and that there is some experience that allows you to maintain and deepen that relationship. And they can be a tremendous asset as long as you kind of respect them and you make that a great experience. So super quick, 2 charts here. I won't get into them too in depth. The top one shows growth of conversation around Crystal Society. The bottom one shows impact. So what this shows in the top one is Swarovski did a great job cultivating conversations about the Crystal Society, getting people to really care about that. And when it came time in the bottom chart to use that to make that ask, they were able to talk in a way that really drove deep impact. So talk about the event in a way that caused reactions from their friends, caused registrations, shares. So I think a great example of the wonderful job Swarovski did there.
All right, so you guys are probably wondering how we did after we employed all of these tools. So the event over one day had $1.4 million in revenue. I say one day, but it was really a 3-hour event on a Thursday night from 5 to 8. And it's important to mention that this is a big deal because it's the highest grossing event that the Crystal Society had ever had. Like I said, in a 3-hour period of time. So it was an 80% increase in revenue from our previous event. So I'd mentioned we do this event biannually. The event prior to this was in October, so a very short span of time between the two events. I personally, in my time with Swarovski, has executed this event 9 times, and 2014 was really the first time we started to experiment with doing any digital outreach. But we really didn't have the Crowdly solution in place until January. So going from our traditional efforts with a little bit of digital in the end of 2014 to adding in the Crowdly solution just in January of 2015, we saw an 80% increase in our results from that event, which I think was huge. It was great. So now to retarget our audience and talk to them in a different way and be smarter about the communication that goes out, keep them informed of events and programs that are happening, just in a more intelligent fashion to help drive revenue and create that advocacy and build up the SCS. So the bottom line of our presentation really is that before we found Crowdly, we knew that we could do some things, but they opened up a big world of digital that we really didn't know existed and how to use it. So that partnership has helped us to increase our membership overall. We've increased revenues for the Crystal Society. And I think that moving into the future, even independent of the Crystal Society, it's going to help us to grow our advocacy through all of our categories.
And I think if you're a brand that has that brand love, look inside your own advocates. Do not just find that you've got a tremendous asset, a dark room that you can turn the lights on of those people that already care. And there's hundreds of thousands of them out there, and that's, far and away, you can't fake authenticity. So find those people that already love you.
Does anybody have any questions?
Okay, so
could you stay for a few minutes after?
Yeah, this is us on Twitter. If anybody wants to ask us questions or
you want to find us at the bar later with a coconut monkey show?